On the night it all changed, the rain came down in sheets, washing the world into a blur of red brake lights and golden city glow. Jin was just another woman rushing home from another long day, unaware she was about to lose everything she knew. She stepped into the street. A horn, a flash, then everything went dark. When she opened her eyes again, the silence was deafening. The air was thick, scented with oil and damp wood. Jin sat up in a narrow bed, the coarse linen rough against her skin. The ceiling above her was wooden. The walls around her looked like they belonged in another century. Panic bloomed in her chest. She rushed to a nearby mirror, and what she saw wasn't her. Not the face she knew, not the life she lived, but she knew this face, delicate features, wide, fearful eyes. It was a character she had once read about, long ago, Yan, a girl in a tragic historical novel, a girl who fell for the wrong man, and died because of it. Somehow Jin had woken up in the world of that book, and not as the heroine. No, she was Yan, the forgotten girl, the girl doomed to make a fatal mistake. But this time, Jin would rewrite the story. She kept her head down, speaking little, moving carefully through the quiet countryside village that now surrounded her. Most importantly, she stayed away from General Liang. In the novel, he was cold, brilliant, destined to rise to power. But any woman who crossed paths with him either had her heart broken or didn't survive the story at all. Jin wanted no part in his fate. And for a while it worked, until the day she turned a corner in the village market and collided with someone. Strong hands caught her. A gentle voice asked, "You all right?" She looked up and saw a stranger's face, tall, kind eyes, an easy smile. "My name's Sheng," he said. It wasn't a name she recognized from the novel, not a villain, not a hero, just a man. Sheng was everything General Liang wasn't. He was light where Liang was shadow, soft-spoken, warm, thoughtful. He helped her carry her buckets. He walked her home when it rained. He listened when she spoke. She told herself not to fall for it. But the more he appeared, the more she looked forward to it. And little by little she let her guard down. One evening by the riverbank he looked at her with eyes that seemed to see straight through. "You're different," he said. "Most people look at me and see what they expect to see. You actually see me." Her heart ached at the sincerity in his voice, and when he reached for her hand, she didn't pull away. For the first time since waking up in this world, she allowed herself to believe. Maybe she had changed her fate, but the past has a cruel way of repeating itself. It was a quiet morning when she saw him, General Liang. He stood at the well, silent and intimidating. The weight of his presence made the air colder. Jin froze. This was the man she had vowed to avoid. But he didn't speak, didn't glance at her, just filled his bucket and left. She let out a shaky breath. Maybe, if she stayed in her own lane, he would stay in his. She couldn't have been more wrong. Whispers traveled fast in a village like this. One evening, as Jin passed through the market, she overheard two villagers speaking in hushed voices. "They say Sheng has been meeting with city merchants at night. Something about illegal trades." Jin froze. A chill ran down her spine. That couldn't be right. Not her Sheng, gentle, kind Sheng, couldn't be involved in something like that. Could he? The late-night disappearances, the cryptic conversations, she hadn't thought much of before, the way his gaze sometimes darkened when he thought no one was watching. Had she fallen for the wrong man? Again, that night she went to his house, heart pounding. "Tell me it's not true," she demanded. "Tell me you're not involved in something dangerous." For the first time, Sheng didn't smile. "I never wanted to hurt you," he said, softly. "But I did what I had to do." Her heart cracked open. You lied to me. He looked away. I protected you. I cared for you. That was real. But it didn't matter. The man she had trusted, the man she thought had saved her from fate, he had led her into it instead. Tears filled her eyes. She turned and walked away. And this time she wouldn't wait for fate to fix things. She would fix them herself. There was only one person who could stop Sheng now. General Liang found him at the barracks, his posture sharp as steel. I need your help, she said. Sheng, he's dangerous. He barely looked at her. You followed the wrong man. Why come to me? Because I was wrong, she said. About him. About you. A flicker of something crossed his face, something almost like amusement. For a long moment he said nothing. Then he nodded once. Fine, he said. But this time, you do exactly what I say. It happened quickly. General Liang and his men moved like shadows, dismantling Sheng's network before he had a chance to react. By the time the sun rose, it was over. Sheng was gone. The village was safe, and Jin? She was still standing. That evening, as the sun sank below the hills, Jin stood beside General Liang. She had once feared him, avoided him, misjudged him. Now he was the only person who had told her the truth. Thank you, she said quietly. He looked at her, his face unreadable as always. But then, something shifted in his gaze. You should be more careful. Next time, you might not be so lucky. Jin smiled. Maybe. Or maybe I've just figured out who to trust. He didn't answer. But she thought, just for a second, she saw a smile in his eyes. And as they stood together beneath the golden sky, she realized something. The story had changed. She had changed it. And this time, she had chosen the right ending.